Hey friends, it's your buddy Matt down here at the Seacrest studio, and boy do we have a special thing happening this morning. We've got a very special episode of Maya's latest news to keep you in the groove, and she has a special guest with her today. Maya, can you introduce our special guest for us?
Cheyenne Jackson.
Cheyenne Jackson's in the house. Oh yeah. Well, thank you for being with us, Cheyenne. I'm going to turn it over to my buddy Maya. Maya, take it away.
So first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for calling in. I've been so excited to talk with you, and I'm actually in disbelief because you have been a dream interview of mine for a really long time.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. And I watched some of your YouTube stuff, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So my first question for you is, when did you first know you wanted to be in the entertainment industry?
It's a good question. I think, well, I come from a little teeny tiny town in northern Idaho. And early on, I loved music, and I loved TV shows. And it was a really fun escape. And I loved just the magic of creating these worlds and creating all of this. It looked so fun. But the first time that I knew that show business or acting was an actual job, I was 13 years old, and I was in 8th grade, and our class got to go to Les Miserables. Les Mis was touring in Spokane, which was a town about an hour away from our little town. And we all got on the bus, and I'd never seen a Broadway musical before. I didn't even know what that was, but it toured to Spokane, and I was with all of my friends. And I remember sitting in the theater, and it started. And I don't know if you've seen Les Mis or you know the music.
I know of it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Well, it's really, really good if you ever get a chance. And it starts very powerfully with this song, and it's very powerful. And you see all the people standing with dirty faces, and they have their rags, and they're singing. And I remember being 13 and looking at these people on stage thinking, what? This is their job? You can do this for a living, and I don't have to work at an office or at the paper mill. And so that's the first time I thought, that's what I want to do with my life. I want to be an actor and a singer. So I was 13. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So you got your start in theater and on Broadway. What was the biggest challenge of transitioning to film and TV?
It's a good question. I thought that all I ever wanted to do was Broadway, because that was the first thing, Maya, we talked about, since that's the first thing I saw, I thought, oh, okay, that's what I'll do forever. So when I got to New York and I got on Broadway and I started working on Broadway, I thought, oh, this is what I'll do forever. But then I started to see some of my friends starting to do TV and movies. And I thought, gosh, boy, wouldn't that be fun? But what I thought that maybe I was too big. What I mean is, on Broadway, if you have to, if you have to say, convey an emotion, you're scared or you're happy or you're angry. Everything is very big, so people in the very back can see what you're doing. On television, it's very close. So all you have to do is think the thing, and you can tell what you're thinking, right? So I thought maybe I'm too big and my face is too rubbery, and I will be too obnoxious on TV. So to answer your question, the biggest challenge was being able to do all of the same stuff I was doing on stage, but then just make it smaller for TV. And the first couple times I did TV, I was way too big. I was very like, I have big eyes and my face was moving too much. And everyone was like, just calm down. Just relax your face. So.
um, you were in Descendants 3 and Julie and the Phantoms, two of your projects that I just absolutely loved. And I mean, still love. I still watch like Julie and the Phantoms all the time. I was watching it this morning. And in both of them, you play characters that are very nice. Is it fun to play the villain?
It is fun to play the villain because I don't think that they are villains. I don't think that they are bad. You know, villains don't think that they're bad. They think that they are just doing what they need to do. So what's fun for me is, yes, it's fun to be like, I'm the bad guy and do all of that. But I like to play the bad guy or the villain because usually they have a lot of pain. Usually they have been hurt in life. And that's why they're acting the way that they are. That's why that they're lashing out and they're zapping people with their magic, or they're, you know, taking these, making these poor guys in Julie and the Phantoms, you know, terrorizing everybody. It's because they have a lot of hurt. And so I think that's more fun to play than to just play like the nice guy who's, you know, that's kind of boring to me. So I love Julie and the Phantoms. I love those guys. I wish the show continued on because there are so many fans worldwide. Maybe one day.
Yeah, I was so upset when it ended, and so I like still, even now when I rewatch it, I get a little bit sad knowing that it's not coming back.
I know. But it kind of makes it more special that way, because then we just did it in one season and it, you know, it's just forever the one thing. And that kind of makes it more special in a way. But I agree. We all would have loved to do more. It just didn't work out.
Yeah. So you were in 3 seasons of American Horror Story. Do you like that genre?
Yeah, I actually was in 4 seasons. And, you know, I actually didn't really watch the show so much before I got on it. It was a little scary for me. I do like scary movies, but sometimes when they're a little too scary and it's a little too bloody, or, you know, lots of dark things, it stays in my brain and it doesn't make me feel very good. But I did really appreciate how beautiful the show is, and the acting was so great, and the people on it are so good that it was a very different thing for me. I had only done comedy really before doing American Horror Story. So I thought, this will be a good challenge. And, but yeah, it's not my favorite type of thing to watch, if I'm honest. It's a little too scary for me, but, because when you're doing it, it's not so scary because you see that it's pretend blood and it's just, you know, everybody's okay. But, yeah, it was not I hadn't really watched it before. I started watching, I think season 4 was the first time I saw it. Yeah. And then obviously I was on it from then, but yeah, but I've definitely learned to appreciate it because the people that work on those shows are so talented and so good, and the makeup and hair, everybody is just amazing. So, but yeah, if a scary movie comes to the movie theater, it's not my first choice.
Yeah. Mine either. I'm not a huge fan of the horror genre, so
Yeah.
um, uh, so were any of the episodes creepy to film?
Yeah, many. So many, because so many of them deal with such scary, dark things. I'm trying to think. Okay, so my first season, when I was married to Lady Gaga on the show, which was really fun because she was just wonderful and kind, and she wouldn't let anybody call her Lady Gaga. She said we have to call her Stephanie because that's her real name. That one was kind of scary because there were tons and tons of little kids on the set, and they made them all with white hair and white faces. And so we would be shooting all hours of the day and night. And so sometimes we would see, like, on the set, on the lot where we shot, just tons of little groups of little kids with white hair walking by with big eyes. And we'd be like, oh, and then sometimes just some of the special effects, I had a season where Evan Peters and I played brothers, and I ended up getting my finger cut off. Obviously, it was just pretend, but it was a scary thing to film, and it was emotional. But the fun part was that because I love special effects, the guys, they made a special pretend finger that looked just like this finger. That got, when it chopped off, it was just made of rubber, but it looked just like my finger with like hairs and nail and everything. They let me keep it. And now I let my kids play with it. And my kids love playing with the fake finger, and they pass it back and forth, and they pretend that their finger is chopped off, and, silly, make believe fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you were also in the movie, The One I Wrote for You, which is another movie that I loved. Did you have a favorite song from the movie?
Yeah, that was a fun movie. There was really nice people in that movie. Favorite song, probably the title song, the song, The One I Wrote for You. Every time I see your face smiling back at me. Yeah, I think that was my favorite because it was the song that Ben, my character, really wrote for his family. And it's the song that kind of brought him back to who he truly was. And I just think it was a really pretty song. So yeah, I would say that song. I haven't thought about that movie in a long time. Yeah, that was a sweet movie.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you've been in so many different things, and you're currently on the show Call Me Kat. Mm-hmm. Of all of your roles and characters, is there one that you've related to the most?
Ooh, that's a really good question. You bring yourself to every character that you play, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody I play has a little bit of me, as a little bit of Cheyenne in them, because that's the only way I can make them seem like real people. Let me try to think of somebody I related to the most. I did this play called Xanadu in New York, and I was on roller skates, and it was so fun. And I loved playing the character of Sonny Malone. He was very, very dumb, but he was very sweet. And he really, all he wanted in his life was to create a roller disco, which is a big place where people just can roller skate and dance and have fun and make art and sing. And it was so simple. All he wanted was to create this thing. And there was something so fun about playing him. And I really related to his optimism. He was very happy. No matter what anybody would say to him, they would try to tell him it's not going to happen and you can't do it and you're not smart enough. He would just find it within himself to do it anyway. And he was focused. And I don't know, I think I really related to his drive, because when I grew up in Idaho, I didn't go to college. I didn't have any money. We were so poor that we didn't even have a toilet inside the house. We had an outhouse, they call it, with like a little shed out in the back, and we didn't have running water. So, but I was determined, and I had a drive within myself to make something of my life and get out of that little town and see what else the world had to offer. So I think any character like Sonny Malone in Xanadu, or anybody that has that drive, I really, really relate to.
Oh, I love that. Who or what do you draw inspiration from when you're writing songs?
Another really good question. Songwriting is one of my favorite things to do. And only about 11 years ago did I even realize that I could write music. And it was when I wrote my first song, it's like I felt like I could speak a whole different language and I didn't know I could speak the language. It's like all of a sudden I thought, wait, I can speak Chinese? I'm fluent in Chinese. That's how I felt about writing music. I couldn't even believe that I could do it, and I could do it well. And all of a sudden it was just, I didn't know I could do it. So it really was an exciting way for me to express my feelings and express my pain. In terms of my biggest inspiration, nowadays it's my kids. I have a son and a daughter who are going to turn 6 next week, Willow and Ethan. And being a dad is the most profound, most painful, but in a good way, beautiful thing that I've ever done. And so yeah, anytime I think of a lyric or I think of a little melody, I just grab my phone and I record it into it or put it away. Songwriting is not really my job, and it's not really how I make money, but it is how I feed my soul, and it's how I create my art. And that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, I would say my kids, my biggest inspiration.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I actually, I also do a lot of songwriting. That's like one of my favorite things.
So you get it. Yeah. It's like, it's just for you. Even if you share it or you don't share it, it feels so good to come out of you. And you feel so proud. Like, I created this from nothing. Yeah. An hour ago, I didn't have a song. Now I have a song that was created out of air. It's a magical thing to me.
Yeah. And I do this thing called music therapy, where and so my music therapist and I have started to like record the songs, and there's one that we recorded that I actually I felt good to share with people. And like there's this like different type of feeling when a song you created moves someone, because there have been a lot of people I've played this song for who cried. I'm like, I hate that I made you cry. Like, I don't want to do that, but
that's great. I would love to hear that song. And that's the power of music, right? Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome that you have that outlet.
Thank you. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd love to share it with you.
Yeah, please do.
You want it? So, okay. Thank you.
Of course.
Yep. So what would the Broadway musical about your life be called? And who would play you?
What a really good question. And no one's ever asked me that. What would it be called? You know what it would be called? My dad's nickname for me was Shiny, because my name is Cheyenne, and it was kind of his nickname, Shiny. And then he'd sometimes call me Shiny Boy. And there was something about that nickname just making me feel like I'm his kid and I can do anything. And also, when something is shiny, it's sparkly, and it's clean, so I think it would be called Shiny Boy. And
Cool.
who would play me? Hmm. I think we'd have to find some brand new, like, 19-year-old kid right out of Juilliard who's trying to get on Broadway, who's 6'3" and looks like he should be on the football team, but doesn't want to be on the football team. He wants to be in a Broadway musical, and I think he should play me.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So what's your favorite Broadway show?
Oh man, that's hard. I love so many. Right now, I would have to say Into the Woods, because I just got to do it on Broadway about a month and a half ago with Sarah Bareilles and all those people. I popped into that for a little while, and my kids got to see me in it, and it was their first Broadway show, and it was the most beautiful night of my life when my kids got to see me do that. So Into the Woods, I think, is just amazing.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I've always loved Broadway, but it wasn't until 2020 that I just became I found these soundtracks that just I became obsessed with and had on repeat all the time. And so
yeah, it's a great musical theater is a beautiful art form. And it's because the combination of a great story plus great music, it's just right in the heart. So good.
yeah. So if you had to wake up to the same song every morning for a month, what song would it be?
Well, having little kids, they get fixated on certain songs. So I kind of do get woken up. For a while, every morning it was, we don't talk about Bruno, no. And now the kids are very into the Woods. So they sing, what are they singing right now? There Are Giants in the Sky. There are giants in the sky. And they're both singing it really loud. So yeah, right now it's that. There Are Giants in the Sky.
Oh, cool. Is there a line from a song, book, movie, or show that has always stuck with you?
It's not from a movie or a TV show, but it's something that my friend RuPaul is a friend of mine, and he told me this years ago, and it really has helped me through a lot of things. And that is, other people's opinions of me is none of my business. Because we so often we get so worried about what other people think about us. And I think with social media and the world the way it is, we just are all obsessed with what other people think about us. And really, your opinion of me, it's not my business. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have any. So your opinion of me is none of my business is something I think about a lot.
Oh, I love that.
It's very freeing because it's really not about you. Anybody that has something to say about you, that's about them. That's something that they're going through. It's not your business. You have your own stuff to deal with. Everybody has their own path, their own stuff. It's not my business.
Yeah. So my last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real life superhero and why?
A real life superhero. I would probably choose the actress Jamie Lee Curtis. She and I did a movie a year and a half ago. It hasn't come out yet, but she is somebody who is so rich, so famous, so wonderful, but she is truly present and kind and giving to everyone in her life. She's thoughtful. She gives to charities. She truly puts her money where her mouth is. And I just watched her make everybody's life better all the time. So to me, that is somebody who's a real life superhero who changes the energy in the room when they walk in, and they really want to make the world a better place, and they don't make it about them. That's very inspiring to me. And that's what I tried to do.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Well, that was my last question, and I just want to say again, thank you so much for calling in. I've just had the best time talking with you, and I'm so starstruck by you.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for your really thoughtful questions. And at least 3 of them I've never been asked. So that's really good work, because at this point in my life, most people have asked me everything, and you really made me have to think about things. So I'm happy to be on your show. Thank you for inviting me. And yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah.
Cheyenne Jackson, everyone. Woo! Thanks for being with us. We really appreciate you being here, Cheyenne. That was a very interesting interview. And Maya, how about that for a compliment? 3 questions. No one's ever asked him. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Cheyenne. We really appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Maya
you.
will keep us up with your latest and greatest.
Thank you. And if you, I'd love to hear your song. If you want to just, get it to me within the way you got this to me, that would be awesome. I'd love to hear that.
Oh yeah. I'd love to send it to you.
Okay. Yeah. Work it out, and I'll be here to hear it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day, you guys.
Thank you. You too.
You too. Bye.
Bye.